Hey folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Thursday. It is June 5th. The Pittsburgh Steelers are wrapping up OTAs with their final of 6 practices at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex today. Also happening at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex today, free agent wide receiver Gabe Davis is finishing his free agent visit with the team. And we will likely find out, I want to say likely, not always, likely find out today or tomorrow if the Steelers are going to sign Gabe Davis. Sometimes it does go on after a visit, but usually by the day after a visit, if a player hasn't signed, it seems like it's not going to happen. So we're going to find out pretty soon whether or not the Steelers are going to sign Gabe Davis in all likelihood. But let's talk a little bit about whether signing Gabe Davis is a good idea or a bad idea for the Steelers. The thing that is very nice about Gabe Davis is that he is, as Field Yates put so eloquently on Twitter the other day, he's adorable. Of course, what Field meant to say is he's affordable. The Jacksonville Jaguars had guaranteed salary on his contract when he was released this spring. So the Steelers or any other team that signs him for 2025 will only have to pay him the veteran minimum, which I think is like 1.17 million or something like that. So a very cheap player for 2025. Now, Gabe Davis was an extremely highly paid player a year ago when he went from Buffalo to Jacksonville. And he's taking other free agent visits. So I guess there's a possibility that he is looking for something beyond a one-year deal. We don't really know what he's looking for, right? So very similar to the situation with Russell Wilson. If you remember last year, we were talking about, will a team be willing to offer Wilson multiple years, or will it just be the one-year vet minimum contract for him, and that's all he's going to get? We'll see. But Gabe Davis is a player that it would not be a crazy investment for the Steelers to go into a second year on. He's only 26 years old. He's been very productive in the league up until this season in Jacksonville, where he tried to play through the knee injury and then, eventually shut it down. His health, to me, is the real big question mark here. He played through this knee injury last year, wasn't very good, had his worst season. Week 9, Trevor Lawrence gets hurt. Jacksonville's season's done. Davis shuts it down. It was reported he was going to have surgery. And, you would assume he would come into the 2025 for a meniscus. You would assume for a meniscus surgery in, what's week 9, October, that maybe early November, he would be fine by now. I mean, players have surgery on meniscus early in the season and come back that year. So then he gets released by the Jaguars this spring with a failed physical designation. So what happened? Did he have the surgery? Did he not have the surgery? Did he hurt something else? What's going on with Gabe Davis's health, I think, is the most important question. And we don't really have any answers here. There's no, I've not seen any reported update on what's happening. I've tried myself to shake some sources loose, and of course, I don't have a whole lot, but I gave it a shot, and I wasn't able to get any update from anyone on what's actually happening with Gabe Davis's knee. If it is his knee, then it's still an issue, and that sort of thing. So, first and foremost, his health will probably be the most important thing for the Steelers. Because if he's healthy, this is a no-brainer. You're going to get a guy who had 2 years ago 750 yards receiving with Buffalo. He's a downfield threat. He's got field stretching speed, but he's a different kind of player to DK Metcalf. He's not this big bully. He's more of a speed guy. He's not the world's most reliable receiver on intermediate stuff, but the Steelers don't need him to be that. When you look at when Arthur Smith's offense has been at its best, he had 2 big play wide receivers. He had AJ Brown and Corey Davis in Tennessee. I think you can look at DK Metcalf and Gabe Davis and be like, yeah, that's it. That's the 2. Those are the same guys. And so I think it's a really good fit. I really do not understand the level of resistance I see from Steelers fans to signing this guy. I mean, he would be the best second wide receiver they've had in a very long time. I mean, I guess George's rookie year, he was the second wide receiver. But, like, man, he's really good. He's been between 25 and 60 in receiving yards in the league every year of his career until this past season. That is a bona fide wide receiver two with zero qualifications, and yet plays for a team with a great quarterback, which the Steelers don't have and probably aren't going to have when he was Josh Allen, but also plays for a team that likely will have a better running attack than those Buffalo teams had, and therefore will have a better play action game, and the ability to take some deep shots. So I don't think it's a crazy stretch to look at what Gabe Davis did in Buffalo and say, absolutely, he can do that in Pittsburgh and be a big part of a successful Steelers offense. I guess the last part of it is, like, what are the alternatives? I mean, what out there is possibly better than? I mean, they're not going to get Chris Olave. They're not going to get Terry McLaurin. Um, I mean, maybe they could wait around to see if they can get Romeo Doubs. I'm not sure Romeo Doubs is a better player than Gabe Davis. He's younger. I don't think he's better. Um, and so I just I don't know what I'm not really sure what, like, the fact that Jacksonville cut him, if he's healthy, is like the Steelers hitting the lottery here. I don't, and if he's not healthy, of course, then it's moot. It's not going to happen. But like I really don't understand the hesitancy to jump in with both feet on a player who's pretty darn good for, you're talking about signing a free agent in June. Usually you are not getting impact players in June. I think he can still be an impact player in the NFL and a quality wide receiver too. The last thing I want to bring up is, I don't think there's any, since the injury to Donald Parham, I don't think there's any impact between the pursuit of Jonnu Smith and the pursuit of Gabe Davis. I don't think it's one or the other. I don't think one would impact the other. I think the Steelers would happily, at this point, take both, just because the lack of depth in the tight end room now has made that a place where they feel like they need to add. And especially if you can get Davis without spending any money, why wouldn't you go get Jonnu Smith for a late round pick and toss him a couple year contract extension? I don't see a problem with that at all. They want to play lots of two tight end. They don't have anybody else who can do Pat Farmer's job on this team, and I think I think both of those things would be. You add Aaron Rodgers, you add Jonnu Smith, you add Gabe Davis, and you look at the passing weapons. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be the Rams, but they start to look like they might have the talent to be good. Um, that's a pretty solid job of adding to a team this point in the offseason, if Omar Khan was able to pull off something like that. All right, that's all I got for this morning. Heading into practice, we'll have more sights and sounds, practice report, maybe some interviews, and then afternoon drive with me and Smitty here at 6. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything we've got going on. Unfortunately, you missed our sale at SN Plus, so you can still sign up at the regular rate over there. It is still extremely affordable, just over $4 a month. Check that out as well. And until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.